I was supposed to talk about something else today, but I'm going to be sticking to what we talked about the last time. Problem accepting new relationship. A lot of questions came up, and a few questions really kind of resonate with me. Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. Thank you for coming back. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for clicking. Thank you for your comments. I appreciate you. Today we're going to look at something new. The last part of our of the catalog of what we've been doing, which is challenges faced by single parents, and we're going to talk about the big X for sugar. We're going to talk about it today. What are we talking about today? We're talking about sex. Sex, yes, you heard me right. We're talking about sex, and I'm sure you're thinking, why are we talking about sex for single parents? Sex is an emotion. Double parent, single parent, male, female, we all have sexual emotion. But because we have sexual emotion doesn't mean the sexual desire has to be fulfilled when we get the emotion. So what am I talking about? Yes, single parent. You wonder, I'm a single parent, I'm all by myself. What about sex? As we all know, in Genesis, which is the book of the beginning, Genesis 1:28 says we should be fruitful and multiply. Hence, sex is meant for while you are in marriage. And also I'm going to read the Hebrew 13:4. I'm going to read that before I carry on, and I'm going to make sure I read it from the Bible. Hebrew 13:4. Marriage is honorable among all, and the bed undefiled. But fornicators and adulterers God will judge. What does it mean? Marriage is honorable among all. Marriage is honorable among all, and the bed undefiled, which means before marriage or while you're not in marriage, sex is really prohibited. I know we have sexual emotion, but because we have sexual emotion doesn't mean we have to fulfill that emotion when we get it. It's like taking, for example, every time I feel like eating, you don't eat all the time while you're hungry, which is part of our sexual emotion as well. Yes, sex was created by God, but sex was created by God to be fulfilled within marriage. That was why he said, be fruitful and multiply. But because, take for example, if we have a negative emotion, we don't, because we have a negative emotion, straight away start displaying negative attitude. We control, we control, and we help ourselves. As women, as men, you would have sexual emotion. Sexual emotion was actually created by God. If we look at Genesis 2:24-25, I'm going to read that to us as well so that we can go together. Genesis 2:24-25. Therefore a man shall leave the father and mother and be joined to his wife, and they shall become one flesh. And they were both naked, and the man and his wife were not ashamed. I purposely reiterate the and the man and his wife. So sex is meant for inside marriage. This is why sometimes single parents, people that are alone, do get into a bit of a mix-up, because sometimes single people end up having sexual relationship with people, and sometimes it becomes messy, and it leads to other things that can be a bit detrimental physically, emotionally to any one of the individuals. So that is why sex, in the real sense of it, as I said in Genesis 1:28, it's supposed to be within the confines of marriage, not while we are out there, because it says fruitful and multiply. Yes, relationship is for companionship as well, and sex is for companionship as well. That is why even if you're a single parent and you cannot be by yourself, that's what I'm saying, nobody can say to you, you cannot remarry or you cannot redo this. Then if you have the need to think, I need to be in a sexual relationship, be sure you're married to the person. Sex on itself is not a bad thing. But having sex when you're not in marriage, or having sex with other people's partner, is a sin in itself. And also, apart from being a sin, it is where most of evil things takes place. Sex is very powerful. Sex is very emotional. Sex can create and destroy. So we need to be careful as a single person, or as a single mother, or as a single father, that you do not go into sexual relationship with just anyhow, or just as you care, because sex is a very emotional and spiritual thing, and sexual relationship brings about intimacy. And when there's intimacy, who are you sure you're getting intimate with? You need to be sure. So to ensure that all of these things, we do not have to fight battles, unnecessary battles that shouldn't have happened in the first place, it's better to be able to control our sexual appetite. I know some people will say to me, so what about people that are alone? How do they fulfill their sexual desire? I'm not going to be able to say this is how you can fulfill your sexual desire, or this is how you cannot fulfill your sexual desire. But what I would reiterate is sex, it's supposed to be in the confines of marriage. So if you have a sexual desire, which would all have, everybody would have a sexual emotion. But the primary point of this is ability to control that sexual emotion. I'll read a Bible verse to you again, which is 1 Corinthians 7, 1-2. 1 Corinthians 7, 1-2 says, now concerning the things of which you wrote to me, it is good for a man not to touch a woman. Nevertheless, because of sexual immorality, let each man have his own wife, and let each woman have her own husband. So, which cuts down to what I said before. If you think your sexual desire is something you can't control, you need to have a sexual fulfillment, then you need to be married. You cannot not be married and then be having sexual relationship. It is a sin. So that based on that, and apart from being a sin, you could actually pick up diseases. You could pick up a lot of things from sexual relationship. It's a place that a lot of things are transmitted. So that's my own contribution. That I'm saying, yes, we can have sexual emotions, but that doesn't mean we have to fulfill that emotion. But if you feel the need to fulfill the emotion, then you need to fulfill the purpose of being in a marriage with somebody. Then you have the freedom to have a sexual relationship with the person. And then we're going to look quickly before I round up on this, 1 Thessalonians 4, and then we look at 3-5. It says, for this is the will of God, your sanctification, that you should abstain from sexual immorality, that each of you should know how to possess his own vessel in sanctification and honor. So really, for our own good, for individual good, for you to be sanctified and make holy and make useful. Even I'm sure in other faiths, there will be things that would talk about not having sex willy-nilly, or because I feel like having sex. Sex is a very powerful thing. It's a very good thing because the Lord has created it. But that doesn't mean we have to have sex because we feel the emotional need to have sex. Emotions would always come. But all in all, we as human beings should be able to control our emotion and ensure that sex does not put us down. So that is why I would advise that if there's a Bible passage that says if a widow cannot be alone, it's better for them to remarry rather than committing sexual sins. So if you think you cannot be alone without sex, sex is a beautiful thing when it's done inside of marriage and at the appropriate place. Sex is a good thing when it's done where it should be done. Sex also can be a destroyer if it's done in the way it's not supposed to be done. So on the whole, sex is a good thing if practiced in the normal way. That would be my advice for us this year. We look forward to continuing next year. And I'd like to wish you a very Merry Christmas. I'm putting my reindeer on. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year in advance. Please take care of yourself, mental health, physical health, emotional, and even your sexual health. Take care of yourself, and the Lord will bless us. Please remember to click, share, and subscribe. And by His grace, we see you in the new year. God bless you. Happy New Year. Bye.